Tracy, are you convinced that even as much as even the CS Environment Superintendent says that this doesn't affect indigenous forests, this is really for commercial plantations, but as an activist, are you convinced what Muchiri is saying?
Unfortunately, I'm not convinced at all. He mentioned history, and I would just like to read a quote from one of the first ministers for tourism, forest and wildlife, called Marianne Peter. He mentioned that the basic use of forest for the benefit of this country, this is Kenya, are more in terms of water conservation and the benefit that conservation makes to agriculture than actually the sale of timber. He continued by saying, timber sales will never justify environmental damage. Never. And this is one of the first ministers for tourism, forest and wildlife, just when the forest plantations before or started to be put in place. They have mentioned several things. Number one, sustainable use of forest resources or rather natural resources. Yes, it is the law, it is the mandate by the government to use natural resources sustainably for the benefit of our people. But why does the government have to go for the most extreme measures? Our forests are barely the minimum requirement by the UN in terms of forest coverage. We are only at 8.83%.
Yeah.
And that is due to the ban being put in place for the past 6 years, because in 2018, when the ban was in place, we were at 5.59, if I'm not wrong, 5.59.
If you compare with other African countries, where are we? Because I remember the president, while speaking in France, with a multitude of youth, he was, boasting of how, as a country, we really have one of the, highest forest covers.
That is complete. That's a lie. No. In Guinea-Bissau, they have up to 70% forest coverage. Guinea-Bissau only. In Kenya, we are barely 10%. So many West African countries are over the 50% mark.
Right.
But then again, even them, the forests are vulnerable because the DRC government wants to to auction oil blocks in Congo Basin Rainforest, but that's another story.
Okay.
And as you can see, we've been talking about sustainable use of forest resources. The government is going for the easy way out and the most destructive way out, which is cutting down trees. And we know that this didn't work. 6 years ago, it was put in place by the same president, William Ruto, who was then the deputy president. He's the one who mandated Tobiko to stop, to ban all forms of logging in all forests. But you can see right now, there are so many other ways that if it's truly about sustainably using our natural resources, there are other ways. There's a billion-dollar industry in terms of honey production that we can use. There's another industry in terms of selling seeds, seed crowning. Dr. Kalua speaks about it very highly, seed crowning. Instead, the government is, even in terms of our own seeds, our own indigenous seeds, the government is criminalizing the use of our own indigenous seeds and instead requires us to, use certified seeds coming again from Europe. Like there are many ways that I feel like the government can put more effort to sustainably. Right now, we should be focusing on forest regeneration for us to, if it took us 6 years, a whole 6 years, to climb up to 3%, and the climate crisis is only getting worse, how long will it take for us to get to 50, to get to even 15? How long if we continue cutting down trees?